shining a beacon on the bizarre.
That's me. Fucking deluxe fucking quarter pounder going down.
Lovely. Let's just roll straight into this.
Oh, did he have the gurgle when he was recording?
I think so. Because here we are, out on bloody water. We're meant to be catching some lovely fish for his tea, and you've been eating quarter pounders with flurries.
We never catch fuck all that. I'm preparing. I thought, we're on mainland. I thought, you know what, fishing trip. I know what I'm doing.
But no one look at shit in water.
I'll probably take a shit in water later.
Yeah, that's half of it is. That's with waterways, with bloody Thames water and everything going on, you know what I mean?
I've saved a bit of my deluxe fucking quarter pounder for bait anyway. I'm hooking it up with a bit of
wonder
gherkin.
what you'll catch with that. You probably catch fucking Pete if you're not careful.
Probably catch the clap.
Because here we are at Kraken Cove and we're out on the water today. We're out just in our little fishing smack.
Yeah, it's like a little mill. Was it mill pond, isn't it?
It's a mill pond. It's a mill pond.
Oh,
out
it's
here,
nice.
Yes, it's nice and still. Warm weather's finally here at Kraken Cove. You know? And I'm Matt.
I'm a Benny.
So the thing is, today we're not going to be casting our light out today, right? We're casting our lines out.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so we're going to see what we can catch. Because the thing is, this cove, the whole cove's magical, you know.
It is.
It's a magical cove. There's all sorts of interesting tidbits sort of like down below. And I've found, you know, quite often, because I've been casting, the line goes up, it doesn't come back down again. You catch things out of the air.
I love it.
Yeah, so you get things which up in space, you get things on land, just by casting the lines about.
It's as easy as that.
Yeah, easy as that, you know, and maybe like with a bit of your quarter pounder with cheese.
Yeah, deluxe.
Deluxe. I can't remember. Oh no, I can remember the last burger I had, and it was a bleak meal. Because whenever I'm working away with me other business, art business, if ever I'm working away, it's always a little bit on the grim side.
Yeah.
Because eating on your own's awful anyway.
Yeah,
you know
it
what I
is.
mean? If you're away,
you know, you're like just fueling yourself then.
You know, you're just staring at the middle. You need a full belly so you can go back to your hotel room, you know what I mean, or something. And I look around for meals everywhere, just outside Liverpool. This little nice little resort, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to New Brighton, I think it was called. And it was just, you can see Liverpool from it literally.
Wow,
it's like as the tip of the Mersey as it comes out into the sea. There's this little resort town there. It's a bit like Bridlington, sort of, you know, slot machines and loads of drinkeries and things.
Yeah.
And I eventually had to go to a Burger King. And it wasn't fun.
It is it. Fries are nasty from Burger King as well.
Well, they're all nasty from all of them. You know, and you just look at the people who make it all and think, oh, you poor sods.
Well, they're not making and warming that shit up, are they? Really?
Where's it made?
I don't know. I was just thinking the same thing there. It must be some. It's got to be. I don't know.
You don't know? I would love to have a look round the McDonald's factory to see where this shit is made. And it's at the start, just sort of thinking, at what point did they decide this is all right for a burger?
Yeah,
this'll do.
You know, like if you watch the hot dog videos getting made, you never eat a hot dog again.
Yeah.
I refuse to. I like hot dogs, so I never watch it. But I think it's the same with that. If you saw the Mackie D factory, nah.
I saw some hot dog sellers being filmed outside of it in New York, being filmed outside from a towel block. Somebody filming down this alley, getting everything ready. It is the most unhygienic, bleakest thing you've ever seen. You know, there's no hand washing. There's the rat-infested alleys, just boiling up these vile dogs.
It still sounds tasty. You say?
Yeah, man.
I'm like, I think I could fit one in.
When was the last time you did a hot dog?
All this week.
On the street?
No, not a street dog. I don't know. I've never had a street hot dog. They don't really do them. Except for fairs. Oh. Won't go there.
Well, you got to remember I'm on the edit here, so you got a free hand.
True. Yeah, you've been on it for the last few weeks. I only did a couple.
Ben did a couple and got bored.
I just got super busy. I've been a tired Benny.
Well, you were super busy last night, weren't you?
Not really last night. I'm just knackered. I'm just knackered. That's what it is. I am spent. I'm a spent
He's a
Benny.
spent Benny.
Really,
poor little lad. But the good thing is Benny's going on holidays. We mentioned in the last episode.
Yeah.
So you never know. He might come back all fueled up, or as I hope, he's going to come back really fat.
It could be either way. Really thin or really fat.
Last time you came back from Thailand, you were massive.
I want that, Matt. I want that. I want big, but I want like fucking obese. You know what I mean?
Well, it were all your torso.
Yeah.
You only had fat legs.
Yeah, I had a big frog belly. It's the rice and beer. That's what really gives you the frog belly over there. And you see some toad men as well.
Really?
Oh God! People have lived out there for ages and just. The rice belly alone is big, but you put beer on top.
Rice belly?
Yeah, that's what they call it, rice belly, especially on Farang, you know, all the white guys, you know what I
Well,
mean?
is it just basically because you're eating carbs all the time?
I think so. I don't know what science behind it.
I just like eating rice all the time, you know what I mean? All guys who made Bridge Over River Quiet, and they weren't fat.
It must be the beer, it must be doing something to it in there, but
it's all fermenting.
Yeah.
Because that's when they talk about, like, you know, they make a big deal in some places, like, oh, this is a rice beer, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because they use the rice instead of grains.
Yeah,
but
sake.
I believe it. Well, no, sake's sake's a rice wine.
Yeah.
But rice beer is basically, it's just a really low, it's clean, very clean taste.
Nice.
Budweiser.
No way, that's made out of rice.
Yeah, I've heard that Budweiser, the main grain they use, because rice is just a grain.
Grain, yeah.
It's just a grain. The main grain they use because they want to brew beer that's almost no flavour.
Oh, that's Budweiser's vile stuff. Budweiser's out of a bottle. I prefer not to have a beer.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting out of a bottle. I can't remember having a pint for it for ages.
Yes, but a lot of American beers, there's not an awful lot of flavour. This is why America went absolutely batshit for the IPA craze and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Tasty beer.
Yeah, you want something with a bit of flavour, you know. But you know the IPA guys.
Yeah.
I'm done with all that, you know what I mean?
I never go too far into it. No, I'm just sticking on the Coronas in a tin before you start.
Won't get me on with my pet things. Anyway, while we're here on boat, let's not rock the boat.
Are we casting?
We're going to do some casting.
Here we go.
What? We are already the first ship out of the harbour, Arcade.
Ooh.
Me and you are the first ship.
We are.
So the second ship out of the harbour today, right? I've got a little question for you. What is the standard bait you'd use on a fishing hook? It's not a trick question.
No, but sea or land. I'd say maggot, traditionally inland.
Yeah.
And a worm.
A worm?
A wiggly worm.
A wiggly worm is a good answer. I like it. You got the right answer. And the reason I'm saying this is because we're talking about the presidential race that's going on at the moment in the US. You know,
I ain't even looked at it. I was seeing it kicking on and thinking, what, is it really Trump and that dying old geriatric dude? Is that
Biden? The dying old geriatric dude.
It's like, what is going on?
But we do have another runner, you know.
Oh.
There is another runner, a Kennedy.
No way.
Yes, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Ooh,
right?
They've got some nuts at Kennedy's. I'd be like on an island changing my name and everything. I'd be like really scared to be a Kennedy.
Yeah, well, this is it. They're incredibly unlucky people in a weird way sort of thing. They've had tons and tons of luck with things. They keep crashing planes and dying.
I think everybody's just after them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing, there's obviously tons of conspiracy theories about the Kennedys and, you know, what their actual sort of like, whether they're good or bad in a way, you know. But this particular Kennedy is a bit of a weird character. Now, if you've ever heard him speak, which you obviously haven't, he's had some sort of like some sort of throat issue before. You know what I mean?
Oh, so he doesn't speak like his ancestor, like because it's there.
Yeah, he tries to, but he sort of sounds like he's just got something wrong with him all the time, right? And there's been quite a few things wondering what it is that's been sort of like what's been wrong with him. You know what I mean? And it was discovered what's actually up with him. They managed to get to the crux of the issue.
Wiggly worms?
Wiggly worm. A wiggly worm somehow crawled into his brain.
Oh no, not parasites.
Ate part of his brain.
Oh.
Then died in there.
Oh no, that's disgusting.
So in the cavity in his head, where he's been sort of like where the worm ate his brain, he has a dead worm rotting in there.
And inside the dead worm is your brain that's rotting as well.
Yes,
that is absolutely sick.
And the other end of worm is the shit of the
your
worm,
brain.
of your brain, where this worm's eating its way out. You know, now, they haven't said what sort of worm it is. Right, but apparently he said he's had memory loss and mental fogginess, and it was so severe that friends grew concerned he might have a brain tumour. And but because like Senator Ted Kennedy, who was another guy who was up for sort of election for a good while, his uncle, he died at 77 from brain cancer, so they actually thought, right, that must be it.
Yeah.
Anyway, they checked it all out and they've realised exactly what it is. It's a worm dying in his head.
And you're going to tell me, obviously, they're more tropical, aren't they, these kind of worms? And I'm going to Thailand and you're on about parasites. Yeah, cheers,
Well, actually, where you are is an absolute hotbed for it.
Yeah,
the main one is, I read about a thing about a guy who was having like loads of fits and things like this, and massive migraines, and he was a real sort of like, he was really in trouble with this guy. And they operated on him to look in his head, and they just found loads of these worms in his brain.
Oh, no.
And what he'd got it from was undercooked pork.
God, so you can have it just from eating it.
All pork pork
yeah.
has this parasites in it.
I've seen, when they put soda water on raw pork and all the worms come out of it.
Rank.
Oh, and they still eat it.
And everybody eats it, and this is the issue. This is why you have to cook pork through. Anything even remotely rare pork, you're in trouble. But I did see on like the American food scene for a while, like a few years back, rare pork was like a big thing.
Oh no!
They started doing rare pork and rare chicken.
Oh,
and it's like, you are
idiotic.
Now, I am not a rare meat kind of person. There's obviously a big machismo kind of thing of like, like with steak, saying like, just smack it, wipe its ass and stick it on a plate. And I'm not for that. I don't mind a rare steak.
No, I prefer them just like medium, you know what I mean? There's no big and hard about eating a bloody steak.
Cook the fucker.
It is.
There's no wrong, just cook it.
I've got a really fancy thermometer, me.
That's nice, Arcade.
Yeah, no, this is like Wi-Fi'd up and everything. You stick it in the meat, you put it in whatever barbecues or ovens and all that sort of stuff, and it'll tell you when the meat's done, you know what I mean? You tell it what you're cooking. Because it's like, like a chicken, they said cook it for 2 hours. You're just going to cremate it for 2 hours. But by law, you've got to think, right, we're not getting sued for undercooked chicken. Let's make sure they cook that fucking chicken so we don't get sued. So we've been eating like dehydrated chicken all our lives. But if you've got one of them puppies in, juicy, cooked right chickens.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Ah, it's worth the money, my friend.
Yeah, well, it is, especially if you're not going to get worms in your head.
Yeah.
Because that's the other issue, is like, just getting worms in your head.
Man, what I were eating over there, first time I went over and we were just eating street food. When we were in Bangkok for a couple of years, we were just eating street food all the time. I was just eating everything that they were eating. Never got ill, you know what I mean? But I mean proper raw shellfish and raw prawns.
Raw shellfish and prawns, they are bad.
I know. I don't know. I think it could have been the spicy sauce kills everything in it, you know what I mean?
Well, there's a lot of vinegar in it, so that's a good one for survival. But it's still, as soon as you bite in and hit the shit tube.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know how I survived that. I would eat everything.
Dodged a bullet all the time.
All the time.
I've got a mate who's a chef, and he was saying like he lived with an Indian guy who used to live like raw chicken on the side all the time, and this guy was sort of saying, he couldn't understand. He's like saying sort of like, what's the problem? What's the issue with this? I said, it's raw chicken. It's on the side. It'll kill us. We'll get this, and this, and he didn't get it because he'd basically been a chef sort of like over in India and cooking over in India, where raw chicken and sides and the hygiene level and where he was a lot lower. Their immune system, where he was from, is incredibly robust.
I'll ask, Jesus Christ, I mean, I took chicken out, I'm like, oh God, these proper, like, we shouldn't even throw it in bin, we should like, I don't know what you should do with it, feed some crocodiles or something. She can fucking eat it.
Really?
She can eat off chicken and not even have an upset. Her tolerance is mental what she can eat. It's really, really scary what she can eat.
I think what it is to build up the immune system. Whereas I think for us, we've just been so used to sort of like
mollycoddled, you know what I mean? We've just been eating boigers and stuff. You know what I mean? That's put me off pork a bit as that kid.
Well, it's probably a good thing in a way.
Yeah.
Because
I'm gonna be extra careful now.
Well, this is the thing. You've got to be extra careful. That's all it has to be. But it's better forewarned than sort of like worms in the brain, kid.
Oh man, worms in the brain.
You see those little films, don't you? Of sort of like somebody sort of like.
Who brought dog onto the boat, kid? Rustling about. There's no room for her.
Yeah, well, it's not a dog. If you have a look under, it's one of Thor's pups.
Oh, is it a little? Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's a
little fella.
Yeah, careful, big teeth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, be careful there.
No,
but, you know, all we need to do, see, because I'm a bit sort of like sheepish when it comes to killing fish.
Yeah.
So all the
oh, nice.
All baby Thor Junior down there, all do is give it a little bit of a knacking with tusk.
She don't move.
Don't move. Are you going to go back in water? What do you think? Should we release you back into the wild?
See if she wants to go.
Yeah. Thor!
No, she's killing back up onto the crinkly paper under my seat.
Yeah, you just stay there. That'll do us. Well, without further ado, let's move on.
We all live in this place. By your leave we will sing concerning our King.
It's always a tricky one because we do have overseas listeners all over the place, you know.
Do we?
Literally all over the world we do have listeners now. Yeah, we've got...
Cool.
I looked on our listener list. And we've got people literally from sort of New Zealand, Australia, Scandinavia, America, South America as well.
Yeah, a bit of Mexico.
Yeah.
I'm well into Mexico.
No, that's Central America.
Right. Oh, well.
But we are from all over, so we will be talking about people you might not be aware of. One of them being Rod Hull. Right. Now, to those who aren't in the know who Rod Hull is, right, he was a bit of an icon when we were kids, sort of 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
You couldn't move for Rod Hull, could you? You know?
Well, do you know, I've been reading Rod Hull, it might be a similar story. He got famous in Australia first on a children's TV show. That's where he came. He wasn't Australian, he was just an Englishman in Australia.
Well, that's why he started with the old Indian, wasn't it? I think he was for charity. He started with the whole thing. It was a charity thing. So basically what he was a children's entertainer, was Rod Hull. And he had a puppet, which was an emu, but it was like almost life-size. His entire arm went into neck and head.
Yeah. The old rubber arm round it, wasn't it?
That's it, yeah. So basically what his whole shtick was to physically assault you with this bird.
Yeah, nipping your genitals, and that's what he went for straight away, wasn't it? Bums and genitals.
Straight in for bums and genitals. I mean, if he hadn't sadly passed away, he'd have been a big part of the Me Too movement.
Absolutely. And plus, he's proper 70s children's entertainer where he looked terrifying. You know, he looked like a scarecrow. You know,
wild hair.
Yeah, you didn't know if he was straight or what a hell he was. He was just like one of a kind. Big wiry hair.
Yeah,
really odd fella.
Yeah, that's it. But as we found out before in British children's entertainers, you know what I mean? If it looks like a duck and smells like a duck and flies like a duck, it's a paedophile. And it just seems to be the way of things, you know. These people wheedled the ways into sort of like children's entertainment at a time when there wasn't any children's entertainment. It wasn't a thing on TV, so that, you know, so you got
they cleaned up, didn't they? Really?
Yeah, so they had of course they did, because you know they had some sort of like besooted guy there, sort of like who'd been in boarding school since he was 6 months old.
Oh man, remember Pink Windmill? Oh, he went on to do a show called The Pink Windmill with grot bags.
Oh, I do.
Oh God, that was awful. That were really awful.
Yeah, that were all
like a disturbing dream thinking about that. Now.
These shows were just absolutely wild. They were so strange. And they were unsettling as a there wasn't anything
nightmarish.
Really, nightmarish. We should do like maybe just a special on kids' children's TV.
Wurzel Gummidge and Rod Hull.
Mr. Nosy Bunk.
Oh no, it's a twisted nightmare.
Yeah, but he was one of these guys. He used to wear his mad like yellow suit sometimes and sort of like, you know, and he just basically attacked people. but what had happened was. He wanted to watch the footy, did Rod Hull, right?
I already is.
He wanted to watch the football, and his aerial had obviously got a bit of a whack somewhere on. A big crow had landed on. Well, funny if an emu might have been on it.
Well, is this about the man whose fault it was? This story?
Yeah. So basically what he'd done is he'd gone onto his roof so he could watch the telly, right? Fucked around with Ariel, right? Had a wobble and fell off. Now, all I can imagine is he's still got fucking Emu on arm, right?
Absolutely. Emu's doing the aerial bit. He's arguing with Emu. Well, careful, you're doing it too
Emu suddenly
hard.
goes for his bollocks. And both of them fall
He
off.
cartwheels down the room and lands on his head.
Just lands on floor dead, right? And they lay still for a little while. That's what I'm imagining. Then Emu starts pecking his eyes out.
Yeah, even at the end, proper self-destructive.
Yeah.
Did he break his neck or something? Or did
He basically fell and died of his injuries. You know what I mean?
Jesus
You know?
Christ.
It's a shit way to go.
Right,
but,
it really
you know what I mean,
is,
you
man,
know?
yeah.
But that's just how it rolls. He was only 63 when he died.
And they
right?
were very famous at the time. It were all, national news. Rod Hull has died. It must be 10, 20 years ago, isn't it now?
Yeah, well, there's another odd TV character who's not yet been outed. But he's a weird character. He's a guy called Gyles Brandreth.
I don't know who this is, you know.
But that's him.
Oh, him!
Yeah.
Oh, is he? That makes it so much better.
Yeah. So Gyles Brandreth, he was the same sort of era, sort of in the sort of like 70s and 80s in British TV. He'd turn up on these TV shows all over the place, like Good Morning Britain. And
Exactly,
like
or a panel, one of them panel shows.
Always on the panel shows, right?
Yeah.
And he had no obvious talent,
Yeah.
apart from he was like bon viveur. He had just had stories and wit, and he can talk forever.
Yes,
so if you were to
he
just
is.
sit him in a room on his own and say, Giles, start talking now and we'll call you in a week.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have stopped.
He's
weird.
insane. And let's say those stories that he picks up, he's in the scene, isn't he? He's always been in the scene.
He's like
he knows
Zelly.
Yeah,
He's constantly there in the scene, in the background.
Especially 80s, 90s, he was just fucking everywhere.
Hanging out with King Charles and
Yeah.
sort of like, all these people. See, he's in with the Royals, he's in with all the big knobs of the BBC, he's in with all the
Proper
musical
wronging.
scenes. Yeah, he has to get... If it sounds like a duck, if it sounds like a
I think I
duck,
know
yeah.
I'm not saying it because I don't
All
want
I'm
to get
saying
sued.
is, Giles,
Allegedly.
Giles looks a lot like a duck to me.
I heard he quacks like a duck.
Yeah, that's it. Now, he's come out, right?
Oh, I'm so pleased it's
Speaking
him.
of John Cleese, of all people,
Oh, right.
right, on a podcast called Rosebud. Never heard of this, right? Brandreth said, I killed a man. It was Rod Hull, the Emu Man.
The Emu Man?
Yeah, so Gyles Brandreth says, I killed Rod Hull.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Nice. Smashing, I love
Yeah.
it.
So basically, it said like it heard him sort of. It heard him complaining about his awful TV reception.
So I think they were at a do. This is what I read it, yeah.
That's exactly what he was. He said, Brandreth said he felt responsible for his friend's death after he took advice while watching a Champions League match between Manchester United and Inter Milan at half-time. He explained how he'd been at the theatre with Hull on the day of his death.
Oh, God.
And he said he was struck by terrible, terrible weather, which I don't know where that's coming from. Brandreth added, he was sitting next to me, and he was complaining all through the show. He was interrupting the show almost, going on about how he wanted to get home because he wanted to watch the football, but his Sky Aerial wasn't transmitting properly. So I lost my temper and says, don't moan about it. If you want to watch the football, if you want to watch the television, get a ladder out, climb on the roof and fix it, Rod.
Oh.
After the show, in this stormy weather, he went home, he got out the ladder, and he climbed the ladder and tried to fix the aerial. Unfortunately, the wind was very great, and he fell backwards off the ladder, and he killed himself.
Oh.
So I wasn't actually there, but I'd encouraged him.
Yeah, he does speak like that.
Yeah.
And then a half hour later, he just sneaks around the wall and pulls the emu off him and that.
That's it. Just to look at the naked hand, wank over it.
Yeah, and take emu back for his own bidding.
I'll be having the bird now.
Yeah. I am the emu man.
You're no longer called Emu. You're called Marmaduke. And now you're my boyfriend. Just putting crude lipstick on Marmaduke. And you're like,
eyelashes.
Your probing beak. Oh, not round there. Not up there, Marmaduke.
It's just a dark, horrible plan.
He is, and he's one of these people who would do anything for fame.
Yes, yeah,
He would do anything
that
for
talking,
fame.
I've seen him before,
Yeah.
that he's got let loose.
I believe he might have been in the jungle or something like this.
He might have been somewhere I've seen him.
Well, in
go
fact, you
on.
name it, he's probably been on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's famous for nothing. He's just so weird.
Oh, he's famous now because he killed Rod Hull.
Wow.
But again, he can't help himself. He has to be in on everything because he hasn't, and he's even said this, he hasn't got any talents.
God.
He has no real abilities. He's got the ability to remember what he's doing.
Yeah.
So he remembers while he's there. So anytime you're talking to him, those big, weird, staring, wide eyes are looking at you. He's just like a big film camera, recording the incident to spew it forth at a later date. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I was talking to these lovely young men from the Leeds, and they lived in a lighthouse. And did you know? And did you know? And that's what he's like. And that's all he can do. He can just remember anecdotes.
When he pops his clogs, I bet we'll get a bit more of a forecast on him, kid.
Yeah, Gyles the Beast written on side himself. But it will all come out, but because he's got the royal connections and stuff, nothing will come out while he's alive. You know what I mean? He might turn out to be completely harmless individual, but my radar is absolutely fucking pingy. You heard it here first, everybody.
It'd be like sat next to Cliff Richard at Wimbledon. You know what I mean? It's that kind of, you think, who's next? Oh, it's him. I can't remember his name or what he does, but it's him.
Yeah, the stories I've heard about Cliff. The stories I've heard about Cliff. Yeah. And he's pseudonym. Yeah. That he does it all under.
Allegedly.
Yeah. And he lives with a priest.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oof. God, that's dark.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, really weird.
Yeah, Cliff and a priest.
Suits. Actually, I'm not shocked. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Let's move on, Mark.
Yeah, please. let's row a bit further down. These waters are troubled.
This castings are murky. Murky waters. Troubled waters.
Troubled waters, man. Oh, well, let's get to the next story. I've got one.
All right, great stuff. Okay then, so you got yourself a little story, have you?
Troubled waters. As Benny goes on holiday, I always watch Columbo Troubled Waters, the one on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
So I watched it last week. I've watched that, and I need to watch Apocalypse Now before I go away as well.
Oh my god.
I have to get into the mood, you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is the
little lads chopping someone's head off. So I watched it and I absolutely loved it. It ended and I'm like, oh.
What's this?
So a Columbo on Troubled Water. I watched it. You know what I mean? We did it last time I went on holiday. So he's on a cruise ship. Murder happens. Blah de blah. You know what I mean? But then I looked and thought, wow, that's such a cool 70s cruise ship. What happened to it? And I was listening to a podcast about about that episode, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A Columbo, I can't remember what it is now, the actual podcast. Anyway, they mentioned in it that it's a wreck. And I thought, what a wreck? I looked into it. So they sold it round the world, as they do, and it gets to cheaper and poorer countries on its travels.
Well, it started off, it's first called the Spirit of London.
Oh, how do you know this shit?
Because I've already looked it up.
When?
Done all my homework on it.
No way, what do you mean?
Yeah.
That is creepy as shit. Why did you know I was going to mention these?
Just because he's me, kids.
That is weird.
Yeah. So go on.
And then it turned into the Ocean I can't remember what it was called after that. The Ocean Dream. Maybe.
Well, it was the names it went under was first of all Spirit of London.
Yeah.
Then its name was the Starship Majestic.
Wow.
Isn't that a good one?
That's really good.
Southern Cross, it became known as.
I didn't know this.
Became when it was bought by Festival Cruises, which are massive cruise line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It became known as Flamenco.
Wow.
Then it was known as the New Flamenco. Then it was known as Flamenco 1.
My God.
Then it was known as Ocean Dream.
No, that's the one I know.
Ocean Dream, that's the one. So it was known as MV Ocean Dream. So, carry on, arcade.
So eventually it got sold to Vietnam. And it was taking tours out of Vietnam, doing loads of stuff, and then one day it sank. Went onto its side. I don't know what happened, if everybody got off or not.
It did just sink in port. Apparently, I heard there might be a fire on board. It was while in port.
Yeah, so it wasn't full of passengers.
No.
Turns on its side, and it's laid there ever since. And it's got rotten and rottener over time, but it's still visible.
Do you know the port?
I don't know the port, but I know it's in Thailand.
Yeah. Lane Chibang Port.
And I'm going to be about maybe 15 miles away from it at one point in my travels. Yeah. So I'm going. I am really going to try hard to get there. I need to see this, you know what I mean? Even if it's just a passing on another boat or somehow.
Well, I have looked from the satellite view of the port.
What the fuck are you doing this shit for? That's mad, Arky.
And I couldn't see a sign of a scuttled vessel. It's a very sophisticated port. The only other thing I'd say, it's fucking massive, is this port.
The good thing about it is it's famous on the YouTube. If you put that in...
good stuff, so
and he's got loads of good drone footage of it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Then I saw a picture of it quite recently, and it's a lot sunk lower, rustier, but it's still visible out of there. But I think it is really famous as a wreck, you know what I mean? You know, of people in the area, especially if I get... my stepdaughter will be like asking the locals and stuff, you know what I mean? I think I've got a good chance of finding it.
Well, the thing with it as well, it was this particular boat, it was I think it was an insurance job.
Oh,
because it was old. I mean, really old. It's a luxury liner, but I got to that point where probably repairs on it and things like this were starting to get expensive.
Man, they scuttled it on purpose.
But you'll be glad to hear that it hasn't just appeared in Columbo.
Ooh.
The ship appeared briefly in the 1975 Starsky and Hutch episode Terror on the Docks.
Oh, yes!
Yes!
I love them. I can't say it, but I like them cop duo.
Which cop duo?
No, I'm not saying it. Fuck you.
Just try.
Oh, no, this is like... I've got something
I'll
wrong
say it
with
first.
Go on, then.
Starsky and Hutch.
It's gone already. Starsky and Hutch. Immediately deleted what you just said.
What we did talk about, we were just talking about earlier, that your Ben's got a problem with car actually
speak.
Remember?
I can't remember.
Right, what I want you to imagine, right?
Yeah.
It's down in the sky.
Yes.
It's on skis, right? And then as it skis down,
do you know what
it goes into a rabbit hutch.
I know, but the thing is, as soon as I think of them, do you know what I see?
What?
A big bag of starch. Don't know why.
What?
Yep. Starchy.
No, but
I know, but I don't want to arc it.
Well, try
Starsky and Hutch.
Yay!
Hey, there
First
we
time
go.
in your life you've ever said it. But it was also featured in at least one episode of The Love Boat.
Wow.
It could have been actually that for a while it was The Love Boat.
God.
It was a Love Boat. And it also featured in Herbie Goes Bananas.
I've never been a Herbie fan, I don't get it.
I love you just KB that bit. The star-studded boat of your fantasies.
That is wild.
Yeah, and of course it was the main thing was Terror on the Docks. Was the oh no, that's the Starsky and Hutch one. Troubled Waters with Columbo.
Because I love that they all got on the boat and they made it on the cruise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were cruising and making it. The background's ace in it because everybody's trying to not to look at the camera or Columbo. But
what do you mean? It's actually just filmed as a cruise is going on.
Yeah, and they've just said like, we're doing a scene. Anybody wants to be involved? Don't look at Columbo. Don't look at the camera. You know, but people are sneaking peeks. It's a fascinating episode. It's such a good one. It's
so interesting. Robert Vaughan's on that one.
Yeah, the man from Uncle, dude. Yeah. He's really good. And that, what can I remember her name? It was the one with the fantastic memories.
Oh, I can't remember. We looked into her the other day, didn't we?
Choo or something.
Yeah, we're going to have to look her up now. Yeah, just because she's got amazing tits.
Yeah. They are amazing, though.
So the woman... So the woman with amazing memories on it, apparently. It's called Poopy the Car. Poopy Bakar, yeah.
That is bizarre.
There's some really good names on this, actually. You know what I mean? So you've got Dean Stockwell's in it.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a great...
His hair, you want to see his hair in that. His eyebrows and his hair are humongous.
Really, they're really big.
Oh, they're huge.
Jane Greer. So
there's another one as well. If you look through that, one of our favourite films is a part of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this let's have a look. Bernard Fox, that rings a bell. But it's not Patrick McNee.
Yes, yeah, he's in it. Yeah, there's two English blokes on it that are really famous.
Right. Well, I'm the ones I'm getting on there. That's about it.
Look for the ginge.
Man or woman?
Man.
No, I think it might be Bernard Fox. Then I don't know.
Show me a picture of Bernard Fox.
Him.
No, he's really famous English bloke.
Robert Douglas.
Oh, I need a fish.
No, we're going to have a look here. Right.
So
Default.
No. Oh. It's him. It's in there.
And he's you think he's one of our favourite?
He's in a film.
He's in a film. He's in the thing.
Yeah, baby. You know the one that when they catch him and he's in the snow and they all surround him and goes.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
I got a good one the other day. Is do you know the birds?
Yes.
Right, and do you know the little girl who's in the birds?
Yeah,
and
the schoolgirl.
Yeah, the schoolgirl. She's in Alien.
No.
She's in Alien. She's the other woman who's in the crew on Alien.
You're joking.
No.
Of course, 1976, so she's still young.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, when you see her, you know what I mean? It's
that's
like it's absolutely obvious when you sort of see her, you know what I mean?
All the birds. I love it. God.
I do as well. I do a particular print where people sort of like say, oh, that reminds me of the birds. And they sort of get all a bit frightened by it. Veronica Cartwright, that's what she's called. That's her there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Veronica Cartwright, I mean, the films she's been in are absolutely astonishing.
It's amazing. Them bit roles, people are just...
Was she fairly high up? She was in, like, Invasion of the Body Snatchers and things like this, you know what I mean? She's been in just amazing films. So, but do you know what? We're dithering on a bit here.
We are, man.
So
Jesus.
the thing we need to remember is that Benny's going to go to Thailand.
Yeah.
And he's going to go see the boat.
Oh, I'm going to find it, mate.
Yeah.
There'll be no troubled waters for me.
Let's hopefully there's none for us on the little boat.
Yeah.
Maybe we should rename this boat that.
Oh, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? I like that, yeah.
If you come back, we'll rename the boat that.
I'll get Pete to spray it on.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's about time we sort of like did a different kind of floating arcade, right? I think we need to float in space.
Ooh,
bit
so
what
spacey.
do you do? There's a little trick you can do, right?
Yeah.
And if you cast your line straight up, right, here we go, 1, 2, 3. There we go. And you see, it's up there. Now, if you reel it in, we might have a little bit of a story.
Oh, is that a dolphin or am I clicking? I don't
know.
Well, here it comes.
Here we are.
Here
We've got a little bit of a space one.
Oh, lovely.
You cast that one.
I feel very proud of myself.
It's a whopper. Now, I heard this on a little podcast a bit back, right? And I've just literally drawn down like a little bit of information. I interviewed this guy on this podcast. And they didn't have an awful lot to say. It was a scientist, Dr. Niku Madhusudan, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's from the University of Cambridge. He had a very, very strong Indian accent, I thought, but he may be from somewhere of that area of the subcontinent. Do not know where. Interesting guy.
Wow.
Right. And basically what he's done is he's been looking at the James Webb Telescope, right? This is an amazing piece of kit, is the James Webb Telescope. We thought it was going to be good.
Yeah.
They thought they were going to see things through it. They just didn't know how good it was going to be.
Wow.
So, the reason why they put these gigantic space telescopes is there's no background noise interference.
Yeah.
It's pointed away from the Earth, so you don't pick up all the shit and static that we're creating.
Yeah.
There's no interference of sort of like particle
space.
Clean space. That's exactly right, Arkid. So what they did was they pointed, right, this amazing telescope towards an exoplanet called K2-18b, right? It was discovered in 2015, and it goes around a star called K2-18. Now, what they do is there'll obviously be a number of planets going around this, so they call them A, B, C, D, however many planets go around, right? Orbital duration 33 days. Mass is 8.6 times that of Earth, right? So it's a dense planet. Well, its radius is 2.6 times that of Earth, so it's a little bit denser than Earth, right? Yeah. And they've studied the gases and things that are coming off. So they know all the gases, right? And the gases that are coming off it can only be produced by life.
Because it's farts, isn't it? Really? It's like planet farts.
Thanks for that, Professor Benny.
It's true, isn't it? It's
It
the
is true.
decomposition, the rot and the stink of life is seeping out of it,
That's
isn't it?
basically what it is, yeah.
I did a little bit of reading on that because I keep up to my star stuff and that. I always found it fascinating.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a long way away, but they're saying it has to be. That's
Yeah.
the first time ever they've said, yep, that is life.
He said he's been super cautious. And he says it is any previous claims of discovery of alien life like fossils on Martian meteorites or phosphine gas in Venetian clouds have been debunked or challenged by studies offering more plausible explanations. So this is why he's been cautious, right? And he said it's far from conclusive evidence, right? But as far as he's concerned, when he was actually pressed, he said the chances of finding life on that planet are 50-50.
Wow.
He said because they, as they know it, they do not know of any other thing that could create these things, which are the main ones that's been produced, right? There was a presence of carbon-bearing molecules, including methane and carbon dioxide. Now, the thing with having like carbon-bearing molecules is these are things which have been. Well, it's what we talked about the other day about is Earth alive?
Yeah.
You know, it's the idea that something is processing the carbon in the planet to create, and the byproducts of that creation and sort of consumption of carbon is carbon dioxide and methane and things, you know. So there's a very good chance, as you quite rightly say, this particular planet, K2-18b, is absolutely full of life farts.
Wow.
So this could be it. And it's not literally, well, it is millions of miles away from us. It hasn't said the distance it is from us. I don't know how many light hours or seconds or something like that. It's not says on this little particular piece how far away it is from us. I can come back with that information at some point.
So weird, you know. You just think about the millions of years we've had life, and it's only pretty recent we've had like proper, or us thinking, you know, like an animal like us on it. You think, what stage are they at? You know what I mean? If it is there. I had an odd one the other day. This is a real dumb question. Were dinosaurs real?
Yes.
How could it? Well, like it just
Next question.
A couple hundred years ago, they just started finding them. Not much beforehand, and they don't exactly every day like, oh look, we just found this real. You know what I mean? It's like.
Well, the way you have to remember is the whole discovery of fossils was explained away by those discoveries. Now, for example, one of the greatest things on there's an Irish tomb which is 5,500 years old.
Wow!
And one of the big prized points of it is an ammonite
Yeah.
on the stone. They've obviously been placed. This stone has been cut free, set up right, and the ammonite design on it, or you know, which is it's a naturally occurring thing. It's not a design as such. It's a fossil. That was highly prized. It was placed there as a ceremonial position.
Yeah.
We have talked about giants. We've talked about dragons.
Yeah.
Who's to say they've not just come down on the beach when there's been a big landslide and a gigantic skull's fallen out the side to explain dragons and stuff away. They have been aware for a long, long time to create stories about it of something gigantic with very sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Now, it might not have been something they've actually witnessed and seen and experienced. It might have been they've discovered evidence of it, because very canny people, you know.
It's like, there's certain dinosaurs I think, they'll be kicking around and that, you know what I mean? But a diplodocus? Are you having a fucking laugh?
Well, right. Let's backpedal this a little bit. So why might not dinosaurs... Well, there's evidence of dinosaurs, and they found dinosaur skeletons, yeah?
Not a right lot of them, though, have they? You think they'd be kicking about a bit. You know, like having a bit of a dig, and you're like, oh, here's one, you know what I mean? They dig big holes all the time. You think road workers and that would be like, there'd be a big pile next to a fucking hole.
Well, the thing is, fossils could only actually occur in very specific conditions.
Oh, bones would have got rotten away.
But everything will have been rotted away over that period of time. Now, take for example now, like how many human skeletons rock up?
That's pretty good.
There's fucking billions of us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What you should be doing is going into the garden now, having a dig, finding a finger or an head. Right.
Now that's pretty good. Now I'm starting to believe.
T-shirt says, "I believe in dinosaurs now."
God, a good t-shirt.
But also, we're very sort of, we're a high intent, we're like a battery creature. We're like, you'd have like battery chickens and things like that. We artificially create a lot of us. There shouldn't be as many humans as there are, because we mass produce food and we actually make huge damage to our ecosystem. We are not part of an ecosystem that can thrive with us on the planet. We're causing a lot of damage and problems. The dinosaurs were part of... There's no such thing as balance, by the way. You know, when they talk about like a fragile ecosystem, there's never any balance. This is a massive myth, is this. You know, these ecosystems that things thrive. So, for example, like they talked about with Yellowstone Park when they reintroduced the wolves there. And they stopped flooding. And they found as well that there's certain things, the trees grew a lot more because the trees on the water side were creating meanders. Those meanders allowed fish to spawn more, right? Because that's where the fish like to spawn more. More fish meant the bears came to the water. They killed more fish, dragged the fish into the forests where they forgot about them, and that fertilises the trees.
And the fucking beavers.
And the beavers. Yeah, that's another thing that works really well. By the wolves killing deer, they stopped them eating small trees, so the bigger trees grew at the bank and shored up the banks. This is what we're about, like an ecosystem that works, because these animals have evolved together, they all work together, they actually create like an ecosystem where things, relatively speaking, can be balanced.
The diplodocus fucking smashing all trees down, didn't we?
No. Well, it did.
Because pterodactyls, are you fucking...
Well, right, you have for the first time come up with something I struggle with. Right, which is the Quetzalcoatl. Now, the Quetzalcoatl was the biggest of the winged dinosaurs. They weren't actually dinosaurs, as it happens. Dinosaurs are a species, almost of like you talk about mammals. It's a winged reptile. Now, the Quetzalcoatl was so fucking big; it was almost as big as like not a commercial jet, but it's of a very large aeroplane. Its wingspan was something insane, like about sort of like 12 meters or something like that. Right? How it took off, how it flew, if it landed on the ground, how it folded its wings up looks all wonky to me. You know, and the head alone was like as long as a fucking Volvo or bigger. You know what I mean? It was this incredible long head. That's the one I struggle with. But at the same time, when you look at the giant insects that happened maybe 150 to 250 million years ago, and they had things like dragonflies, which was like 6 foot dragonflies, and things like that. The reason why these creatures could exist, because the oxygen content of the air was much higher. So it gave the insect energy and buoyancy due to that energy levels, right? It's like going to the casinos in Las Vegas where they pump oxygen in and you don't get
free drinks.
That's exactly it. So the conditions of the time allow these animals to exist and thrive. You know, so it might have been a bit too hot and moist for us or something like that. You know, we might struggle. But if you were going to be a diplodocus or a brontosaurus or brachiosaurus, one of these particular creatures, as they think as well, they did plod around on the earth a lot, but they also think they did immerse themselves in water a fair bit to sort of like wallow like a hippo does. You know what I mean? So they did just sort of get buoyancy. But what's your issue with the Diplodocus or one of them?
Well, it just seems too big, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like a lot of them tramping round, it just doesn't make sense to me.
But the biggest animal that ever lived didn't live then.
It lives now.
The
blue whale.
The blue whale.
I find that fascinating.
I do.
On the megalodon as well, they say that could still be kicking about.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't and it can't.
Yeah?
Yeah, it can't.
Just too big.
We'd see it. The megalodon, where it fit into the ecosystem, fits in just where the great white is now. It would be feeding like the great white in the same place as the great white,
and it wouldn't be down right at the bottom of it.
No, it wouldn't. There's no need for a megalodon, and it wasn't a deep growing thing. Now the six-gill shark, which is one of the biggest deep sea sharks, that is down there, very very big, very slow growing, very ancient, quite a slow creature. But to be down there, you do not need that speed and killing power. You're in the dark.
Lurking about.
What you need to be doing and being prepared to do down in these cold water depths is waiting for something dead to fall to the bottom. You don't want to be feeding. You don't need that.
Running around, or
you don't need to be running around. You need to be waiting for the dead things to come to you, then you feed on the dead things that drift down. It's not a great existence, but that's how it is. So there's no need for a megalodon to be in the deeps. If there was a megalodon, it'd be up, it'd be at the shore, it'd be eating us now.
You'd be seeing it.
You'd be seeing it.
Play dinosaurs existed.
And nearly for the springtime, when we take the road once more, for the planting and the pearling, and the berry fields of Blair, we'll meet up with our kinfolk from all the world around, when the gang of bird folk take the road, and yellers on the broom. When yellers on the broom, when yellers on the broom, and I'll get you on the road again, when yellers on the broom.
Now, one of the main issues you're going to have being up in space and travelling around space, I know we were done dinosaurs then, but we did start in space.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, we found about farts, didn't we? We
yes.
found about farts on the planets. That's where we were with that one.
That's
right?
good.
This is going to sound mental, but when I get to sleep on a night, is I write a science fiction story.
Oh, Blaze.
In my head.
Yeah.
Right, I'm really quite on with it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I like to do, I like to ponder issues that you'll have within a story to create realism and enjoyment, you know what I mean? And
that's a good way, I like
so
that.
I name everything, so everything's got names, you know
Cool.
what I mean? Yes, it's going to... But then when I want a particular character to be a particular way, my particular character was originally from the moon.
Ah, yeah.
And the characters from the moon, it was obviously there's going to be people going to the moon soon, as I said before, you know, the Artemis project and things like this. It was a few generations on.
Proper moonlings.
Well, what happened a few generations on, there's suddenly this one, everybody born on the moon at that time suddenly became like moonlings. Everybody all at once. It was like ping. Suddenly all the children were like 7 feet tall.
Wow.
Grew to 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
They had different eyes so they could see properly on the moon because the gravity is different. It's 0.6 of our, it's a sixth of our gravity. But they were perfectly... obviously the breathing issue was a thing they couldn't overcome. But they could stand being in lower pressure, much lower pressure. They basically thrived to it. But because this happened on the moon, they just wiped out the whole the Earth and Mars sort of conglomeration. Said, look, we can't have this going on. Whoa. We can't have that. They're aliens.
Yeah,
it was basically
you're
not us anymore.
Yeah,
that's what they decided. They were aliens. Something had happened. They'd been infected in somewhere. They tried to wipe them all out. Right?
Jeez, a bit wary against them.
Well, no, they wiped out the whole. They just said nobody goes on the moon anymore. The moon's a no go. Right. The reason being the moon no go because we do not understand. Something's happened. Something's on there. You've either caught it or been infected.
You don't come down. We don't go up.
That's well. They allow. In my little story, they're allowing people from the moon to sort of almost like these refugees, and they kind of have to sort of tolerate them and allow them to.
That's good.
And the best use of moon people is to pilot space freighters places because they're the only people who can stand long periods of time without gravity.
Yeah, that's really good.
So but they've got a very low class citizens. Basically, what they are, they're just manning space freighters, you know, going through the galaxy, you know, because they'd have to have huge teams of people to run them.
Fucking hell, you do this going to sleep on a night? Do you know what I do?
I'm a wank.
I lay on my belly and I get scooched up to my pillow and pretend I'm a cowboy on top of a ravine waiting for bad guys, and then I just drift straight off because I have to lay still. They never come either. I've never shot someone in my life. It's true. I've done it all my life. Done it since I was a kid. I still do it now every night. I'm on that ravine, waiting for them banditos.
I'm about 6 full novels in my head now.
All I do is lay in a ravine, right happy.
God, we're so different. Well, one of the big issues I've got is artificial gravity.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, if you can create artificial gravity, you can create artificial anti-gravity. So,
No, I ain't got it.
Right.
Artificial gravity.
Right, which...
Artificial anti-gravity. As in, like, you got a room and you can float around like you're in space.
So this is the thing I've been wondering about, is when my particular moon people are waiting between jobs on Earth.
Yeah.
Where do they survive? And it was like in sort of what I've called them G hostels.
Nice.
Gravity hostels. But when you put G hostel together, it says ghost. It says ghostels.
Wow.
So that, and everyone's disparaging. All these poor fuckers have to live in ghostells all the time. You know what I mean?
They don't like him anyway, so he's a bit like Ghost Suits. It was a bit of a slur to it.
That's exactly right. So
that's good.
So that's part of my thing I've been pondering about is how are we going to create anti-gravity, how it's done, right?
Yeah.
And but the main thing as well is gravity on ships. We will need some form of gravity on long distance because humans cannot survive.
Yeah.
We cannot survive without gravity.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be in a situation we degrade as soon as we're in that zero G environment.
Seems awful. It's like muscles, bones.
Bones
everything.
the worst one. Yeah. Basically, your bone
Digestion
just
must be
goes.
fucking
Yeah.
weird.
So everything like that starts to go. Anyway, an engineer says he's found a way to overcome Earth's gravity.
Wow.
This was big news to me. This, right? So basically, what he says, he discovered him. He says he's. This is one I haven't read.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. I've only done. His main way of overcoming Earth's gravity, the reason he's doing it is more of a thruster to get away from Earth.
Right.
To take off without using sort of hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Yeah,
worth of
got
fuel.
you now. Yeah.
That's the thing he's using. So basically, it's like a thrust drive he's using to get away from space. But for me, this is going to have multiple uses. Multiple uses.
It opens up a whole.
So the company behind this particular drive that he's invented, right, is called Exodus Propulsion Technologies. Say that the drive can achieve a thrust to counteract Earth's gravity. Right, now it does need independent verification and a healthy dose of scepticism to this, so it's absolutely in there. So it's British electrical engineer Roger Scheuer first introduced the impossible drive, known as the M drive. Now I've read about this before, right? It was called impossible because its creator purported that the drive was reactionless, meaning no propellant required. But they found now, no, that doesn't work or anything like that. Now, it seems to me that this one is an electrostatic device. So it's creating a charge, and it's creating a field in its own right. Is this new one?
Back of my head, like with magnetism and anti, the pull and... Yeah.
No, that's absolutely right, because this is the thing with gravity, is people do not realise that gravity is still incredibly mysterious. It's on Earth, while it's people talk about what a strong force it is on Earth, it's actually not very strong at all. But as a force in the entirety of the universe, it's incredibly powerful and all-consuming.
Wow.
Everything, you can't float in space. Anywhere in space, you cannot float in space.
Wow, you get sucked into
something. You will be in the gravitational field of something.
Wow.
And you'll be drawn towards it, no matter how weak a force it is, bit by bit, over billions and billions of years. You will be pulled towards that thing that's nearest to you and is exerting its greatest force. So everything in the solar system has a gravitational pull, strongest of all being the black hole. Right, that is where gravity and force and energy just goes completely batshit. Still, we don't know enough about them, But that proves there is something which can, and a huge power which can sort of overcome all. So now what they're looking at into this is apparently the website, The Debrief, said they've created a new powered by a new force outside our current known laws of physics, giving the propellantless drive enough boost to overcome gravity. And he says the most important message to convey to the public is a major discovery has occurred, he says, right? Now, Bueller's stressed, now this is the guy who's discovered it, right? Charles Bueller, this is the guy who's done it. Bueller, right? He says that this new discovery of a new force is fundamental, that electric fields alone can generate a sustainable force onto an object and allow centre of mass translation of said object without expelling mass. Now what that really moves into is saying you can create a field
and it doesn't run out.
And it can propel whatever it's sort of like attached to in a said direction, right? And now he says the work is unaffiliated with NASA, right? And he did present his findings at the Alternative Propulsion Energy Conference, right, which is a club of engineers and enthusiasts eager to find ways to overcome the limitations of physics and gravity. Now, I think those lot sound like a cool bunch. I bet it's fucking boring, but only because we don't understand them.
Absolutely, we're over our heads, but what they're getting excited over, we just won't get it.
So he's essentially, as a little bit of a rundown, he says what he's done is essentially what we've discovered is that systems that contain an asymmetry in either electrostatic pressure or some kind of electrostatic divergent field can give a system of a centre of a mass of a non-zero force component. So I think what they're doing is actually generating. It's not like you have a plate that does this.
Yeah.
It's not like you strap something to a plate and then put this on, and then you'll levitate on it. I'm not sure that's the way this is going to work.
Yeah.
Although it could be. It could be
I
a
think
case
the main one is we're not just using a big fucking rocket. You know what I mean? Just that idea of a firework. We're not doing that. We're doing something where you're cheating on physics, aren't you? You're like slipping through or making it disappear the force in front of it to make it.
Well, as well for artificial gravity, because what they could be doing is almost like when you magnetise a metal bar, you have positive and negative on either side. I think what they're trying to do, as far as I can figure this out, is you're supercharging one side of it, so one side's stronger than the other.
Yeah.
So you haven't got balance and symmetry between the north and south poles. You've got perhaps like a really powerful south pole, which is generating enough energy away from it to create drive.
It makes sense, doesn't it? When you look at it.
But there's also the other thing is, for gravity on a ship, what you might be doing is not having something that's below you that's sucking you to it, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
You might have like plates in the ceiling, which is generating downward force, pushing you to the floor.
Yeah.
So it might be that you can tweak it so that energy coming from the ceiling is the equality or the minus.
It's tricky magnetism, isn't it? Yeah, that's really fucking ace. I like that.
So this is really interesting stuff. I mean, it's only in its infancy at the moment. It's only just going through.
Especially if you get up, then you can hook onto the gravitational pull of whatever's in space and keep lurching out for it to drag you along.
Basically, what you'd be doing with that, because you are creating your negative gravity thrust. You wouldn't. We do that. That's what we do already.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's how That's how all the space satellites have actually slingshot effect.
Yeah.
That's what the slingshot effect is.
Yeah.
So you look for the gravitational pull of planets, head to them. So you give yourself a little thrust and a boost. Head towards that gravitational field. It pulls you towards it. You skim the surface. It catapults you out the other side towards another planet. The mathematicians have lined all these things up so you need very little thrust. You just get catapulted from one planet to another like a pinball machine.
Right,
but what's amazing about that though is that where you're heading towards, the planet's not there yet. They've worked out when it's coming around in its rotation.
Oh god.
And so as that planet arrives, you arrive at the same time and get spun off of it.
It's just mental, isn't it? Maths, man. Wow.
Well, when our kid...
I think it is about time, Arkin. We've been spouting like a pair of old women.
Rattling on today. Well, I've probably been answering a few of the Benny's questions.
Oh, yeah, true. I feel very kind of like... I love my belly answering from it.
Yeah.
Learned.
Do you know what I found a bit worrying about all this?
Yes.
Can you name those police duo that we were talking about earlier?
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah,
you learn me.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the big bag of starch for once. I saw a star going down like a ski.
There, so this is working. You know. But
educational.
So I was a little bit worried because you said before that you listened to the last episode and you forgot that everything had been on it. So I did feel like I'm pissing into the wind a little bit there.
Just how my brain works. I just tap delete every single hour.
Well, that's it. Maybe that's what you might just like an empty hard drive, just ready for more information.
Exactly.
Yeah,
just ready for fun.
But, well, here's a nice little story to end. We always like to finish the Kraken Cove with a nice little story, don't we? You know, and to see you off with, monkeys are fucking deer.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh,
this is something, isn't it?
Fucking monkeys.
I know. Well, it turns out it's the adolescent female. Apparently, what they're doing. You might have seen it already in Japan, where the adolescent female Japanese macaques have taken to mountain seeker deer. Now, seeker deer.
I've seen this already. It's something I remember. Is that one?
You can see on a lot of documentaries at the moment, like nature documentaries, you'll see a lot of monkeys actually riding deer now.
What?
They're riding deer, almost like Planet of the Apes style, right?
It's like the start of Planet of the Apes, isn't it?
Well, what's happened to start with is that deer and a lot of monkeys have got a symbiotic relationship already.
Wow.
The reason being is that monkeys are up trees.
Yeah.
and they're keeping like a bit of a nice little lookout all the time and looking everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're looking out from the trees, looking for tigers and predators,
lions and
leopards.
tigers and bears.
Oh my! Right. But the cicadae also have got their own sort of senses, different sort of sensory output, so they've got much stronger hearing.
Yeah, so it's sneaking up somewhere.
So they'll sense that as well. So they're working as early warning systems for each other.
Yeah.
Right. Now the monkeys like this.
Yeah.
So they're eating up there, but they're dropping fruit all the time. The deer are underneath eating the drop fruit.
Wow.
So they're working together already. They're in a team, right?
And it's been going on a while, I bet.
It's been going on for longer, thousands of years it's been going on. But what they've discovered now is that sometimes if a monkey wants to get around somewhere, it drops out of the tree onto a deer, off it goes. But the deer don't look panicked.
Wow.
But it's just riding around together.
Oh, I want to see. That's insane.
Yeah, should we find you a little video?
Oh,
of it?
I need to see that. No, I can't not. Monkeys riding.
So the monkeys are grooming deer as well.
He just showed it then, like, there's the monkey bit.
Oh, he's got it.
He got hold of the leg of the deer, and the deer ain't panicking her out.
Yeah, but they're hanging around.
They're totally just on the road chilling. 3 monkeys, 2 deer now.
Yeah. It's a bit like 2 girls, 1 cup.
He looks like somewhat real.
Oh, here we go.
He's getting on. He's got hold of its back. It was quite aggressive, but the deer didn't react.
Now, this is at a zoo. But they put the monkeys in with the deer because they like being with each other.
Oh, yeah, so it's laid down on the ground, it's deer, monkeys on top.
Yeah. I think what is it's almost like you're waiting for a taxi to set off or a bus to set off.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening there. It's like, come on, I need to get going. So just give me a little nip
Oh,
on him.
oh my God, he's on. It's a tiny little deer as well, a big monkey.
It's a big monkey. It's too. But I've
Oh, he's thrusting a bit, Matt.
Yeah, he is a bit, isn't he? Well, I think what's actually happening here is he does want to kind of get around. He likes it. But I think this is what's led to them sort of thinking, you know...
He's trying to fuck the deer, Matt.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Well, I think, because I've seen footage of them where they just jumped down from a tree, jumped on the deer skedaddle, they've just ridden it around like that.
Wow.
I think they've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Go for a deer ride. This is a bit of fun, right? And I think then they've realised, you know...
That hanging out back of it feels better.
Well, I think they've liked the action.
Yeah.
So, this makes me tuppence feel nice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know which way around. We need to have a little look at this, right? Because this says here... I love it. I just fell on this sign here. It says... obviously, we talked about bonobos fucking all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it says, there are gay creatures all over the animal kingdoms, and scientists even caught brown bears engaging in oral sex. Don't say a word.
Yeah.
Hanging out on the street corner, sucking off by an 8-foot bear or something. You know what I mean? But what they said, so they have now witnessed these macaques riding cicadeer, and they said it'd be adorable if monkeys were just hitching rides on the back of their long-legged neighbours, which they sometimes do. But researchers say they've determined this ritual is sexual in nature.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be the start of a new social trend with young macaque females who are known to mount one another in a sexual fashion, gradually picking up the idea that Sika stag can provide release. Now...
What, the female deers are coming from monkey penises?
This...
Oh, God.
This looks lawful like me. This might be the other way around.
The fucking the monkeys?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't know which one's worse, Matt.
So first of all, what we've seen there is the females mount the deer and thrust their pelvises, right? So they're basically sort of dry humping the deer.
Yeah.
Right?
Ah, so with the feet, right.
So I think there's a lot of bit of grinding going on, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much a deer's going to put up with monkeys hanging out the back of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you got your kicking legs and all that sort of stuff, right? It seems to be the females and immature males end up with macaques being bucked off onto the ground when they've tried to fuck them, right? But they are getting on there and basically just dry humping deer, right? So I don't know whether... They're sort of hinting at it a little bit here that there might be situations where the deer are kind of offering up to monkeys are offering up for the deer to kind of have a go.
It's all dark, isn't it? It is really dark. Cross animal sex is just like I suppose what we're doing at the moment, we've got bloody squid things and bloody multi-armed.
Well, let's look at it another way, right? So we do know already that sort of like dolphins wank off with mackerel and stuff
Yeah.
like this and other fish. We know that, right? There's loads of animals have fucked other animals.
Yeah.
This is quite a common thing.
Yeah,
They just
yeah.
they see something, they think, ooh, I might have a go on that, right? And they give it one, you know. Which, you know, this is it's one of those things. I wouldn't like to say it's all right, it's natural.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the other thing for me, right, is at what point did somebody think to themselves, I know what I'm going to climb on top of that horse and ride it round for a bit.
Yeah.
This could be the beginning of that kind of
Yeah,
you know,
relationship.
relationship. It could have
Yeah.
been that sort of dirty little monkey man.
Yeah.
He's got a bit bored. Now, as we all know, right, lassies love horses, don't they?
They certainly do.
So maybe it was women who actually started the whole thing of riding horses.
That's very good, because you can see that, can't you, in a way? I can,
Yeah, so they might have sort of like given a little pet and a stroke and stuff like that, and then climbed aboard and give I'm enjoying this, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, and from there, horse riding started.
Because when you pass out your lady's horse rider, I was like, really?
Yeah.
Enjoying yourself? Bit too much.
Yeah, that's it, you know what I mean? And I have noticed as well, there's an awful lot of them washing their dongs outside, whether they need it or not.
Exactly. Yeah, they like that part. I know. In nature, surely the horse's cock's alright, you don't need a good clean.
I've heard lots of clay. This is what I thought this as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, why
but
do they
there's
stand
an awful lot of people saying, oh no, you check out horse's knob, it really does need a right good soaping. And you're like, does it?
Yeah, does it
Does it
really?
really?
Yeah.
You know what I
What
mean?
happens to wild horses, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All
what's happening with their
might have a
knobs?
bit of a smelly knob, but
Yeah.
I bet if you go around smelling animal knobs, you're not going to do it to your dog, eh? I bet it stinks. Oh, look, there's a wild badger. Oh, let me just cook it. Wash it up, balls.
Soapy water. That's not going to survive unless I wash that off right vigorously.
Yeah, big arm length of cock.
Look at zoo. I mean,
Yeah.
ain't zoo. There's nobody in there with soaping off tapir dick, is there?
Exactly. Yeah,
The only
get
animal that's getting a regular fucking really good soaping is horses,
a
isn't
big
it?
horse schlong.
Yeah.
Ladies, answer that one. Kraken Cove.
You're an holiday.
Gmail.
Kraken Cove podcast at gmail.com. Fucking hell.
Riddle me that, ladies.
Have you gently soaped a pony's plonker?
Pony's plonker. Oh, brilliant, mate.
Right.
Oh, way to end it. Well, we've caught fuck all anyway. We're going back home. Fish
That's
fingers.
it, fish fingers is again our kid. You know what I
Jeez,
mean?
we're shit at fishing. You think we'll get used to it?
Yeah, but the thing is, you see, do you know what? It's the old thing about fishing, Arcade, right? If you're there, if you knew fish were guaranteed there'd be no joy in fishing.
Nah,
Fishing
true.
is a state of mind. It's out there. It's not the catching the fish that counts. It's being out there
there
just doing
to
it.
catch
yeah.
the fish.
So
I like
right,
that.
grab the oarlocks,
All
Arcade.
right, here we go.
Yeah, right, get thrown into shore, right?
Oh, and if I don't come back alive, thanks for listening to me, to a Benny.
Let's see what the boy has to offer.
Yeah.
So it's a big bye-bye from Matt.
And it's a bigger bye-bye from Benny. Take care, guys.
There are 3 ways you may contact Kraken Cove. Either by email at krakencovepodcast@gmail.com, on Twitter at Kraken Cove, or Instagram at Kraken Cove Pod. Ha ha!